In this video, I will show you how to generate unlimited viral videos 24/7, like this one, and this one. We will go from nothing to a fully automated workflow that works on Autopilot, and the best part is that it will generate professional quality videos completely free. We are going to use Comfy UI and n8n to automate everything, and don't worry, it's completely beginner friendly. I've got some exciting news. I'm launching a new community that'll be the ultimate hub for diving deep into AI, automation, and making money online. As an early member, you'll be a founding member and unlock some exclusive perks, plus access to all the courses and all the templates ready to import with just one click so you can start growing from day one. This is your chance to join at a massive discount, a deal that won't last long. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Also, I have put together a file that you can find in our community's one-click setup folder. Just head over there and click on the Google Drive link. Once you've got it, you can upload it straight to n8n in the Import File section. In just one click, you'll have the whole workflow ready to roll. All you'll need to do is add your own credentials, and you're all set. You'll find the link to the community in the description. Let's get started. The first step is to install and configure Comfy UI. We have three options available: the desktop application, the Windows portable package, and the manual install. The manual install is the most challenging but supports all operating systems. We're going to use the desktop application for this tutorial. Just click here and it will take you to this page. Click on Download for Windows. The installation is now starting. Click on Get Started to continue. For the GPU, we're going to choose NVIDIA. We could also select Manage Configuration, but this won't set up Python or anything else, so it's not recommended. You could enable just CPU mode, which uses your computer's processor instead of a graphics card. However, it will be much slower, about 10 times slower, so that's not recommended either. The best option is to select your GPU, then click on Next. Now we need to set the installation location. Let me adjust this to where I want it installed. That looks good, so I'll click on Next. You can also use this for an existing installation if you had already set it up. I haven't done that before, so I'll just click on Next. You can enable automatic updates and usage metrics if you want. You can simply skip this part and click on Install. The system is now setting up the Python environment. This will automatically install everything needed on your computer. It's a fantastic option that makes setup very easy. That's it. The installation of Comfy UI is ready. Here we have the basics, where you can generate images from text. You can transform images into other images. There are LoRa to modify styles, and there is n8n, which allows you to alter something in an image by selecting it, and the system will modify it. You also have embedding and sampling of multiples. These are the basic features. But right now we're interested in Flux. We have several Flux options. There's Flux Schnell, n8n, Outpaint, and many more. I'll try the Flux Dev, which generates the best images. So just click here. It will tell you that there are missing models, so just click on Download to download the missing models. Great. Now the model is loaded. Click here and you can see it's here. Flux Dev Safe Tensors, which is the checkpoint. The green box has the prompt. You can change it there. I'll keep it as is. To run this, just click on Run to start it. It takes a few seconds to finish processing. And it was as simple as that. We just selected Flux Text to Image, then we chose that specific workflow, and that's it. Everything is configured for you. You can download this image or do anything you want with it. If you want a different model, you could use a different checkpoint based on the model you want. For example, here we can decide that we want the checkpoint model type based on Flux Dev or Flux Schnell. Let's select Flux Development. You can download these checkpoints, upload them, and place them into your Comfy UI installation in the Models folder. In the Checkpoint section, it will display them in your workflow. It will appear up here, and you can easily switch it, and the image will look different. That's a straightforward way to change the checkpoint to another one. If you want the full workflow, there are many workflows available that can be generated on this page. It allows you to have different workflows automatically. For example, if you want this one, you can download the workflow. This is the workflow, and it can be downloaded automatically. Or if you want to create a consistent image character, you can download this workflow, and it will create your character in all poses. This is that workflow. Here, you can download it. To save your current workflow, Just press Ctrl+S to save it, and you will find it in the Workflows folder. Also, if you want to explore other workflows, you can click on Workflow and then Browse Templates, and it will show you all the available workflows right here. You can use workflows like text to image, text to video, image to video, upscaling workflows, or any kind of workflows. Now the next step is to integrate Comfy UI into an AI automation tool called n8n. This way, we can generate these images without prompting each time and do it automatically, and generate more complex things. Now that we have Comfy UI running, it's time to set up n8n. Create an empty folder on your computer. This folder won't have any files yet. Open the folder in Visual Studio Code to begin. Now create some folders and files. First, make a file called a Docker Compose file. In Visual Studio Code, create a new file and name it Docker Compose YML. Then, go to the community, copy and paste the content. Since this runs on your own computer, change the file from HTTPS to HTTP to use localhost. This is the only change needed here. Then, create another file called .env to store environment variables. For the .env file, go to the community and copy the environment variables. Change the host to localhost since the setup runs on your computer. After adding these details, the setup for these files is complete. Now create one more file called n8n-db.sh. You can do this in the terminal using a tool called Nano, but it's easier to create it directly in Visual Studio Code. Make a new file, name it n8n-db.sh, and paste the content for it. Check that the values in this file match the ones in your other files. They must be identical. If you're using your own values, replace them and ensure everything is updated correctly. Now, make the n8n-db.sh file executable. Since you didn't use Nano, there's no need to exit anything. In the terminal, paste this command to make the script executable and press Enter. This step is complete, and the file is ready. Next, run the command Docker Compose up in the terminal. This starts all the services. If something goes wrong and it doesn't work, you may need to run the n8n-db.sh file. After running it, enter a password when prompted and press Enter. This command sets up the role, schema, and other necessary details so everything can work properly. After that, check the containers to confirm they're running. Look for them in the terminal or Visual Studio Code. Click the link to open the setup on localhost, and the page will load in your browser. Now, fill in the required details to proceed. Enter your email address. I will use mintedwealth.es@gmail.com, which is my Gmail address. For the password, choose something secure. After typing the password, click Next. Answer the questions that appear by selecting the options you prefer. The setup will ask if you want an email with a license key to unlock all features permanently. Click the button that says, Send me a free license key to receive the email. Check your email, find the message with the key, and copy it. Return to the page, click to activate the license, and select the option for activating the workflow. Paste the key and click Activate. This enables the Community Edition. Finally, refresh the page to confirm you're using the Community Edition. This gives access to unlimited workflows. Return to the overview and start creating a workflow. Now that everything is set up, let's connect n8n to Comfy UI. Start by clicking the three dots in the interface. Next, go to Settings and find the Community Notes section. Head over to your community page, copy the text provided there, and paste it into the settings to import it. A warning will pop up about the risks. Just check the box and click Install. It'll take a few seconds to finish installing. Once it's done, you'll see it's ready. Go back to Settings and create a new workflow. Since the community package is now installed, let's begin building the workflow. The first step is to set up a chat trigger. Go to the chat section and type something like, "A lion roaring in the snow," then hit Send. Next, add a basic LLM chain node. Open this node and change the source prompt. Instead of using the chat directly, set it to be defined in the node itself. This is where we'll create the prompt. Return to your community page, find the image prompt generator section, and copy the text from there. Paste it into the node, making sure to set it as an expression. Replace the part that says, "Add your concept" with the chat input you just typed. That's it for this step. Now, we need to choose a model. For this, we'll use the OpenRouter chat model. You'll need to connect your OpenRouter account first. Create a new credential by going to your OpenRouter account and generating a new key. Once the key appears, copy it and paste it into the credential field. For the model, select DeepSeek Chat Free. With that done, let's test it. The system should create a detailed prompt based on your input. The final step is to start Comfy UI. Wait for it to load. When it's ready, click to show the terminal. You'll see it fetching data, and it will display that the UI is running on port 8000. Give it a few seconds to finish loading everything. Once it's complete, go back to your workflow and add a Comfy UI node. For the credential, create a new one. Return to your community page, find the section on integrating n8n with Comfy UI, and copy the API URL. Since we're working on localhost, make sure the port is set to 8000, matching what's shown in the terminal. Save the credential, and it should confirm it's successful. Next, you need to add the workflow JSON to the Comfy UI node. To get this, go to the Comfy UI configuration interface. Select the workflow, then choose Export API. Check the name, save it, and create a new folder called Workflows to store it. Open the saved file, copy its contents, and paste them into the Workflow JSON section of the node. Make sure to set it as an expression. Also, replace the input text in the JSON with the text from the basic LLM chain node. Be careful to avoid double commas by adding a replace function to fix them. Now, test this step. The terminal will show the generation process, which should complete in about 22 seconds. Once it's done, go to the View section to see the result. You'll find the image of the lion roaring in the snow, created directly in n8n. Let's try another example. Type a dragon launching fire over a castle and run it again. The system will generate a new image based on your input. That's how you use n8n and Comfy UI to create images. In the community, go to the WAN 2.1 Image to Video Workflow section and open the Google Drive link, then select Download. Once the file is downloaded, open the Config UI. Drag and drop the file into the Config UI, and a workflow will appear, similar to the one shown. The workflow is already optimized and uses the fastest versions available. You could run it now, but there is one more important step to complete first. You must use the Custom Nodes Manager. Look for the Video Helper in the manager and install it. Select the latest version of the Video Helper and click Install. After installation, it will prompt you to refresh your browser, so you will need to restart the Config UI. After restarting, the Config UI will load again. Now, update the settings. Go to the VHS section and select the Always option. With that done, add a new node that uses the Video Helper suite. Find and click on the Video Combine option from the Video Helper suite. In the Video Combine settings, choose the image you want to use and connect it. For the frame rate, match the example by selecting 16. For the format, choose H.264 for better compatibility. In the prefix field, type Comfy UI. Now you are ready to proceed. Remove the other two nodes that are not needed. Place the new node in the correct spot, save your work, and run the workflow. Wait for the video to generate. Once it is complete, you will have your video. We use the MP4 format because it is easier to edit and work with using FFmpeg, so keeping the files as MP4 is the best choice. Finally, with everything set, click on the workflow and select Export as API. Confirm the export. You can now use the workflow directly in n8n. To generate videos from an image in n8n, begin by setting up your environment. Ensure you can already create images in n8n. To make a video, you need to add a new node. Start by opening the settings in n8n. From there, go to the Community Nodes section. In the Community Nodes section, install a new community node. Copy the package name provided for you. Return to the Community Nodes section, paste the package name, and confirm that you understand the risks. Then, click Install. Once the installation is complete, the node is ready to use in your workflow. Go back to your workflow and add a new node called Config UI Image to Video. If the node doesn't appear, refresh the page, and it should show up. The node will ask you to connect it to an account. Use the same account you used for image generation. Next, Export the workflow from Comfy UI. Copy the contents of the workflow and paste them into the workflow section of the node. To see how it works, use a sample prompt like a black tiger in the snow. Run the workflow. The process will execute, starting with the basic LLM chain, and you'll see the image generation running in Comfy UI. Once the image is created, you can view it. Now, set up the prompt for the video. Go to the input text section of the node and drag the text from the basic LLM chain into this area. If the text has double quotes, fix this by adding a simple command after the text. Next, configure the input type for the image. The node accepts URL, binary, or base64 formats. For base64, go to the JSON data and drag the data attribute into the field. Binary is the easiest option. Match the name of the binary field, which is usually data, and keep it set to binary for simplicity.
Then set the timeout for the process. The timeout is in minutes, and it will stop if it takes longer than 30 minutes. For a workflow that takes about 1 minute, the default setting works fine. After configuring everything, click Test Step. The process should complete in about 2 minutes. Check the output and preview the video to see the result.
You start with a simple message, then it improves the prompt. After that, it generates an image, and then creates a video from that image. Now I will show you how to integrate it into existing or new projects, but first I'll show you how to set it up in the cloud if you prefer that. Let me guide you through starting Comfy UI inside RunPod. First, go to the Pod section and click on Deploy. You have two options, Secure Cloud or Community Cloud. If you choose Secure Cloud, you need to create a network volume first. To do this, click on Network Volume, then select a region with an RTX 4090 or RTX 5090. Next, choose a size for your volume. I suggest 100 gigabytes. You can always go bigger, but never smaller. Give the volume a name like Comfy UI and click Create Network Volume. Refresh the page and you'll see the new network volume. Now go back to Pods, click Deploy, and select the network volume you just created. Then pick the GPU and the template. To find the template, type Comfy UI and select the first option that appears. Finally, click Deploy and wait for it to finish. That's one way to set it up. Another option is to create a pod directly on the community cloud. With this method, you can't use RunPod storage, but you'll use the storage of the community computer you're connected to. For example, select a community computer, choose the same Comfy UI template, and type a new name for the pod. Then, click Deploy. Keep in mind that with the community cloud, you might get around 110 gigabytes of storage. Now you know how to create a pod on both Secure Cloud and Community Cloud. Let's talk about costs. On the Community Cloud, a pod costs 34 cents per hour, and the disk costs 1.5 cents per hour, making a total of 35.5 cents per hour. When the pod isn't running, there's an idle fee of 2.8 cents per hour. On the Secure Cloud, the processing is more expensive, but the disk storage is cheaper. If you need a more secure setup, go with Secure Cloud. If security isn't a big concern, Community Cloud is fine. For this tutorial, I'll use the Community Cloud, so I'll stop the Secure Cloud pod. To do this, just click Terminate, and it stops charging. If you want to terminate a Community Cloud pod, you need to stop it first, then terminate it. I've started a Community Cloud pod which costs 34 cents per hour with an RTX 4090. I also created another container to compare their specs. Each time you start a new container, the specs might differ. I suggest starting multiple containers to find one with good specs. For example, one container might have 12 CPUs and 31 gigabytes of RAM, while another has 8 CPUs and 41 gigabytes of RAM. Some might have a 100 gigabyte mounted disk, while others don't. Avoid using a container without a mounted volume, as it won't save your changes. Stick with one that has a volume mounted, so you can stop and start it without losing your work. Once your pod is running, click Connect on port 3000 and Comfy UI will start. Once your Comfy UI pod is running, it's a good idea to keep it updated. Go to the manager and click Update All, then wait for the process to complete. After the update, restart Comfy UI, and you'll see its interface. Next, go to Workflows, click Browse Templates, and let's download the models for Flux. Start with Flux Development. The system might prompt you to download this model, so just click Download, and it will save directly to your computer. If you prefer, you can use the Model Manager instead. Go to the Manager, then select Model Manager, and search for the correct model by typing Flux1Dev FP8 Safe Tensors. You'll see two options. Choose the one from Comfy.org and click Install. The download will start, and you can track its progress in the terminal at the bottom of the screen. That covers everything needed to run FluxDev. Now let's set up the image-to-video workflow. We'll use WAN 2.1480p fast, which you can find in our community. To make this work, you need to download all the required models. Start by visiting the community, selecting the image-to-video workflow, and choosing the diffusion models you want to install. For this tutorial, we'll use the 480p version with the scaled model, as it's the fastest. Copy the model's name, go back to the Model Manager, paste the name in the search bar, and click Install. Once it's installed, move on to the next model. Next, we need the text encoders. Find the correct one in the community, copy its name, return to the Model Manager, paste the name, and click Install. The download will begin. When it finishes, the system will ask you to refresh. Click the Refresh button, then refresh your web browser. You can search for the model again to confirm it's installed. Now, let's get the VAE. Copy its name from the community, go back to the Model Manager, paste the name, and click Install. Once it's done, refresh the browser again. Finally, we need the CLIP version. Repeat the process. Go to the Model Manager, paste the name, and click Install. With that, you've installed all the models and components needed for the workflow. Now let's test the text-to-image generator. Go to Workflows, click Browse Templates, select Flux, and choose FluxDev. If the system indicates a missing model, update the model name in the drop-down menu. Then, run the workflow and wait for it to complete. Once it finishes, you'll see it worked successfully. Now let's test the second workflow, the image-to-video workflow. Go ahead and try running it. If it doesn't work, you might see an error saying the scaled safe tensors model is missing. To fix this, click on the model selection, choose the correct one, and run the workflow again. It should work now. The process will take about 2 minutes to complete. I'll pause here and show the result once it's done. Great, the video has been generated and you can view it in the interface. As a tip, I recommend installing a node called Video Helper Suite. This node is really helpful because it lets you save videos as MP4 files instead of WebP, which makes editing easier later. To install it, go to the Manager, find Video Helper Suite, and install it. Wait for the installation to finish. You'll see it executing in the interface. Once it's done, the system will ask you to restart Comfy UI. Confirm the restart and refresh your web browser. After reloading, you should see new nodes in the interface, including the Video Combine node we need. Now, go to the settings for Video Helper Suite, find Advanced Previews, and set it to Always. With that done, you're ready to configure the workflow settings. Start by linking the image to the workflow, then set the frame rate to 16 frames per second, as this matches the workflow's requirements. For the prefix, use Comfy UI. Next, choose the format as MP4 with the H.264 codec. You can now scale the video if needed and remove any unnecessary nodes from the workflow to keep it clean. With these settings in place, run the workflow again. This time, it will save the output as an MP4 file. Once it completes, check the result, and you'll see the video saved as an MP4. That's perfect. The only thing left is to integrate this workflow with n8n, which we'll cover next. Let's improve your workflow by integrating Comfy UI. Instead of sending a post request to an image generation API, you can make a simple change to use Comfy UI. Here's how to do it clearly and step by step. Start by duplicating your existing workflow. Go to your workflows, find the one you want to improve, and create a copy. Rename the copied workflow to something clear, like Comfy UI Workflow, so you can easily identify it later. In your original workflow, you might have a split-out node where all the nodes after it run at the same time. The problem is that Comfy UI can't handle multiple image generations simultaneously. To fix this, you'll run everything up to the split-out node as usual, but you won't generate all the images at once. Instead, you'll process them one by one using a loop. Add a new node called Loop Over Items, and set the batch size to 1 since Comfy UI can only process one item at a time. After the split out node, instead of connecting directly to the text to image node, connect the split out node to the Loop Over Items node. From the loop node, connect to the text to image node, then continue through the workflow, generating the video and sound effects and granting access to the files. The loop ends after the file access step. This setup ensures that the loop starts with the text-to-image generation, creates the video and sound effects, and repeats for each item until all items are processed. Here's what the loop does. It generates one image, creates the video, adds sound effects, and completes the process for one item. Then it repeats for the next item until all items, say 7 in total, are done. Once the loop finishes, the workflow moves to the rendering step. This looping approach replaces the simultaneous image generation, ensuring Comfy UI can handle the workload. Next, add a new node for Comfy UI to handle the text-to-image generation. In your workflow, insert a Comfy UI node specifically for generating images. Disconnect the old text-to-image node and connect the new Comfy UI node in its place. Rename this new node to text-to-image v2 to avoid confusion with the old node and to keep track of the update. For the Comfy UI node, you need to set up the credentials. Create a new credential in the node and use the Comfy UI API URL. Save the node and test the connection. If it says connection successful, you're ready to move forward. If not, double-check the API URL and ensure it doesn't have a / at the end. Now, configure the Comfy UI node to generate images. Use the Flux Dev workflow in Comfy UI. In Comfy UI, go to the Workflow section, select the Text-to-Image workflow, and export it as an API. Name it Text-to-Image workflow and confirm. Copy the contents of this workflow file. Back in your workflow tool, open the Comfy UI node, switch the workflow section to expression mode, and paste the copied contents. In the pasted workflow content, find the prompt section. Replace the existing prompt with the correct one, which you can get from the Loop Over Items node. If the prompt has quotes, add a small piece of text to handle the quotes properly, ensuring they don't cause errors. You can also adjust the aspect ratio of the generated images. In the Comfy UI workflow, locate the width and height settings. Copy these values and paste them into the JSON document in your workflow tool to match the aspect ratio of your existing images. To test the setup, click the Test Step button in your workflow tool. If the test fails, check the API URL again and remove any trailing / if present. Once the test runs successfully, you'll see the generated image, confirming that the Comfy UI integration works. At this point, you can safely remove the old text-to-image node from the workflow. Finally, rename the text-to-image v2 node back to text-to-image to keep things consistent with the original workflow. Save your changes, and you're done. You've successfully switched from an API-based text-to-image call to your own Comfy UI text-to-image generator, processing images one at a time in a loop for a smooth and reliable workflow. Now let's add image-to-video generation to your workflow using Comfy UI. You won't need the two nodes you used previously for video generation, and you don't need to set up a connection yet. Instead, add a new Comfy UI node specifically for image-to-video generation. Select the image-to-video node from the available options. To set up the image-to-video generation, go back to your Comfy UI interface and locate the WAN 2.1 workflow. Export this workflow as an API, naming it Image-to-Video Workflow, and confirm the export. Copy the contents of this workflow file. In your workflow tool, open the new Comfy UI Image-to-Video node and switch the workflow section to expression mode. Paste the copied workflow contents into this section. Next, update the prompt in the workflow. Replace the existing prompt with the correct one from your workflow, which you can find in the Loop Over Items node. If the prompt contains quotes, handle them the same way as before by copying and pasting the text that fixes the quotes, just like you did for the text-to-image node. To ensure consistency, adjust the aspect ratio of the video to match the images you generated earlier. Find the width and height settings in the workflow content and update them to match the values used in the text-to-image node. You can also set the video duration. For a 5-second video, set the frame count to 81, since each second requires 16 frames plus one additional frame. Now configure the input type for the node. The simplest option is to use binary input. Map the data attribute in the node to the corresponding data attribute from the previous node, ensuring the image data is correctly passed to the video generation. The node has a timeout setting, which is the maximum time it will wait for the generation to complete. By default, it's set to 30 minutes, but since the video generation typically takes about 4 to 5 minutes, this should be fine. Test the image to video node by clicking the test step button. Wait for the process to complete. Once it finishes successfully, you can view the generated video by clicking the output preview. If the video looks good, rename the node to image to video to keep the naming consistent with the text to image node. After generating the video, you need to store it. To do this, copy the two nodes used for storing files from earlier in the workflow, typically an upload node and a file access node. Paste them after the image to video node. Rename the first node to upload video and the second to grant access to video. Connect these nodes in sequence. Ensure the data attribute in the upload node matches the data attribute from the image to video node. For the file name, choose a suitable name from your workflow, such as the one used in the previous nodes. Replace the old file name in the upload node with this new one. Test this step to confirm the video is uploaded and access is granted correctly. Run the test, and once it completes, verify that the video is stored and accessible. The workflow will now continue as before, looping through the 7 items defined in the split-out node. After processing all items, it renders the script and generates the final video. These are all the changes needed to integrate Comfy UI for both image and video generation, replacing the previous image and video generation APIs. Your workflow is now streamlined and fully functional with Comfy UI. Thank you for following along.